Welcome to the Principal Podcast, where we talk about how the best professional services firms grow. Whether you're looking to scale your firm or learn from the stories of founders and leaders who've done it, you're in the right place. Join us as we interview the best leaders in professional services. Let's get on with the show.
Group, we're on today with Jamie Kostelac, who is the co-founder and CEO of Titan Group, a very fascinating business model that I can't believe how rapidly it's grown throughout the Midwest. And he's going to share a story with us about his business, how he got into it, and why it's so successful. So, Jamie, the first question I always like to ask everybody, how did you get into building and scaling your business so rapidly, and what led you ultimately to co-founding the Titan Group?
Yeah, well, first off, Dennis, thanks for having me. And just so people know, my name is Jamie Kostelac. Last name, it's a Croatian last name. So
I love that. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Jamie.
Absolutely. So what got us here is, so me and my business partner, we actually used to own a competitor. We were a part of a business group at that point was only worth $3 million portfolio. So this was back in 2016.
Okay.
And we were two people that worked in their office hourly, making $10 an hour. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and they had dreams and aspirations of growing to be a large entity. And me and him, of course, were aspiring to grow. So we grew inside of their office in Kansas City, and then ultimately got the opportunity to be the first remote owners of that group. And fast forward years later of growing within that business, they are now worth over 300 million. But we departed years ago just because there was some private equity that came into the mix. And what really built that brand up to that point was the camaraderie and the culture that was built, competitiveness. And, we truly felt like we were owners of that whole entire group. But with private equity, it kind of changed a little bit. So me and him both were like, you know what, we're building someone else's empire here. So we learned a lot of good stuff from them, but we wanted the opportunity to grow ourselves. So we were the first two people to voluntarily exit that organization, and it was a huge risk. I mean, we built businesses and we're making good money at that point to where, a lot of people would have said that didn't make sense to walk away from comfort, but
Right.
the people who we are, we want to take over the world. That's our mindset. So we realized, it was best for us to take risks and exit. And that's what we did. And here we are today.
I love that. So 10 years ago, you saw the opportunity and then pursued it. When did you guys start Titan?
Yeah. So we exited that organization. He left in 21, I left in 22. And then in 2024 was when we, ultimately formed our entity and then got into a rival company and started our first location, ironically, in Kansas City, where we started and met
I see
that business. So,
well, you know what? It's always good to remind people, hey, if you want to play, we're going to be head to head right here in the same backyard. We like that. There you go. What specific problems do you feel you help your customers solve today, and why is that important to you to do so?
yeah. So so we're in two businesses now. We started with Junk King, which is junk removal service, and then just this year we've actually we started a pest control company that we plan on scaling nationwide as well. But the first business that we're now in 6 different markets. For us, it's what I say is we're not removing junk, we're removing problems for people. So, reasoning for getting rid of these items, it's not just, hey, I'm sick of looking at this couch, or hey, I'm tired of looking at these boxes. People are moving, people are dealing with crises at home, and, they call us out, and what seems just like a trash removal service, what made me fall in love with it was the fact that we are truly making a difference. So I think there's a superhero element to what our guys do each and every day. So, if someone has to be out of their house by 5 p.m. today and they call us at noon, their backs are against the wall and they need to get rid of these items so they can move on to their next property. And that's what we'll do is we'll come in and make sure that, hey, it doesn't matter what the issue is, how much time you have, like we're here to do whatever we can to help mitigate any issues you're dealing with. And I think that's a huge piece for our customers is, there's a lot of issues they have and we're problem solvers.
What I like about that is I can share with you a personal story. My wife passed away from cancer. And when she had passed, she had accumulated a lot of things that the kids did not want. I had a big home and I wanted to sell and downsize. And I gave them the option, do you want to get it? And they said no. And so I called a removal service in San Diego at the time. And they came and they did a really good job and made such a difference that I decided to stay for another year, because with everything removed, I could actually see a lot of things that I really wanted to still have and possess. And so it meant a lot. And so I would agree with you. You solve problems. You don't remove junk. And that's the main thing for everybody to understand. This service is invaluable. I lived through it and used it, something similar, and I was very thankful for it. So I just want to tell you, you guys have a great model. I like that.
Absolutely. And Dennis, to add to that too, like our philosophy at Titan is we hire character and we train skill. So we want to make sure we're hiring good people that
Wonderful.
that on their own merit will go in and take care of people, because you don't want to just hire anyone. We're very selective with who we bring into our
Wonderful.
franchises. So in doing so, we teach the sales acumen. We don't expect, I know a lot of companies want turnkey ready sales people that can come in and instantly assimilate to their sales culture. But with us, it doesn't matter what your background is. Like me, I was a former college athlete who, I'd worked at FedEx after graduating, and I come into working for that company and I learned their sales culture and just all their sales strategies. Same goes for us. Like we want to make sure, as long as you're a good person and you come in with the right mindset and you want to grow, like we'll teach anyone how to sell.
That's wonderful. We have one last thing in common. I played college basketball at San Jose State University.
Okay.
Many, many moons ago. I got paid to play, but it was in the shorty shorts, not the ones they have today.
I was going to say,
There you go.
different wardrobe back then for sure.
Yeah, John Stockton. Just visualize John Stockton. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your ideal customers today? Meaning when you want to grow your business in either metropolitan areas or an end user consumer, who do you go after and why?
Yeah, I would say our target is 25-64. That's really our
Okay.
bread and butter there. And, homeowners, individuals that I wouldn't sit there and say there's a median household income per se, because I
Right.
think everyone needs the service. And with what our junk removal businesses do is they offer, there's 13 different price points. So we work
Okay.
within any budget. So we're not really specialized to a certain median income range. I think what makes our model special is we can help anyone out with any budget. So, and that even goes for the person who's got the multi-million-dollar house that only wants to spend $100. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's that, or it's someone who is, downsizing and they've got 10 truckloads. I think the beauty of our model is whatever issue you have of any size, like we're not too big or too small for anyone. I
Like
think
that.
it works for everyone.
Good. You can tailor it to the individual needs of your client.
Yep.
So when you've grown so rapidly, how do you get brand awareness? For example, do you do direct email campaigns to metropolitan areas and looking at that 25 to 64 group, like you said? Do you do LinkedIn? Do you do Instagram? Do you do Facebook, social media oriented? Or do you have advertisement in the area geographically, whether it be print or television media?
Yeah. Well, just to give a little color to Titan and how it connects to the marketing aspect. So me and my business partner, when we started the Kansas City market, we've grown to St. Louis, Austin, all of DFW, Phoenix,
Okay.
and Chicago. So our management company is what handles basically everything that doesn't pertain to the leadership and development of each of the markets. That's where our leaders in those markets handle. So from a
Okay.
marketing perspective, that's one of the areas that I spearhead. What's allowed us to have success is when we purchase these businesses and we look at, financials from the previous business, they put all of
Mhm.
their money at bottom of the funnel. And when you look at like home services in particular, that's what a lot of companies do, because we've noticed it with pest control as well. But it's a full maturation of the funnels. We make sure the brand awareness is happening through, we still do broadcasts. I know there's a stigma out there about broadcast, and I agree. If you don't run the proper reach and frequency on those stations, then yes, you could be burning through a lot of your budget. But, we have great representation who we've worked with even predating Titan, worked with other businesses as well. So having someone who you can trust go in and negotiate on the TV stations locally.
Okay.
So doing that, we're also doing meta ads. We're working with a local company here in Kansas City on creating shorts and things like that, that we're then doing evergreen footage to all the locations. And then I've worked with several vendors to run Google ads, PPC, LSA, things like that. But
Right.
with over the last year, I personally put a lot of my time into understanding AI. So we've built out a proprietary, fully automated, I don't want to say fully because there is human intervention, but a lot of the mundane tasks that I used to get on vendors about because I felt like they weren't doing, like scanning, doing a market and competitor analysis, negative keywords, keyword research, RSAs, things of that nature. I felt like
Smart.
we were a number to people, and we have our tempo's fast, and we don't wait for anything. So I knew I kept asking for things that I didn't think they were ever going to fully commit to. So for the last several months, have been building out that proprietary dashboard that we've since in the last month transitioned, and we've seen what was job growth 10-15% go up 30-40% in just 1 month. So that's something I'm continuing to scale, because with Titan Group, we do have a marketing company as well. And that's something that it's a new aspect to our company. And that's something that we're going to offer our clients as a customer facing dashboard, that they can see all this data, because not everyone's privy to marketing. I think they just want to know, is it working or is it not? This platform's going to allow whatever level of acumen to just get all the information that you need right up front. But it's a fully dynamic dashboard. So that way, you're not waiting for a person who's got 50 different clients to get to your account. This is something that's happening in real time on a daily basis.
So you help create that or customize it for what you guys are doing?
Correct. Yeah. So I in our organization, that's something that I said I would take the lead on, is just a full AI for everything for our company right now. And there's several aspects through our different departments that are utilizing it. And, I don't launch anything until I have at least a month of kind of letting it go alongside what the existing process is. So once I feel like it's hardened and ready to go, it's been launched. The marketing piece here is something that I've had running alongside our marketing agencies for a couple months, and feeling really good about it.
Wonderful. Well, it's your personal investment. It matters. And so and it seems like that from everything you do from when you started to this point. So with what you're doing right now, you've apparently been on some podcasts before. How do you feel podcasting fits into potential channel of distribution for what you guys might do?
Yeah. So I've talked to you today about the junk removal business, the pest control business. We're really wanting to put a focus on building Titan itself. Okay. So with podcasting, I feel like, if we've got a really good website that's been built out, because we have a web development team, so that's good at showcasing. But I think there's no better platform for leaders of organizations than to get on to podcasts and really articulate the organization and what they stand for. Because the website's great, doing whatever type of promotional stuff you want, but there's nothing better than letting people know, especially in our business, like we're just normal blue collar people that fool you into thinking we're white collar. We know what we're doing, but we're normal people, and we want people to understand that, because in my past, I would always associate a CEO or COO, like my business partner, is just this person I can't relate to, who's just silver spoon, all that stuff. But I think it's cool when you get the opportunity to let people see who you are, and that you are a normal individual who just is hungry for growth and success and wanting your clients to win. There's no better platform for that than getting on podcasting and letting people hear your voice.
I would agree with that 100%. And more importantly, you come across naturally. I mean, I interview 4 to 5 people a day. I just got off with a person from the UK earlier. Very interesting, very fascinating. But it's a different world, what his business is versus yours. And I think having experience, like I share with you, what you do as an entity, as a business, you come across naturally. And that is something you can't replace with a LinkedIn ad or go to a website. It's you. And I think you're looking at the right thing there. When you go to a new market and you look at opportunity and growth, from when you go into that market, when do you expect to see a return in terms of investment for taking the time to go into a new city or metro area?
Yeah. So there's nuance in each location. I can't sit here and say it's a cookie cutter. I can give you an estimated time, but for us, we don't invest in a market. We invest in the individual that wants to go to said market. So,
Okay.
we could sit there and say, hey, there's a large market available, but if we don't have the right person that's willing to go to that market, because with our business, I keep going back here, but I want to mention with our business, all of our leaders started in the trucks. So we have a career path. So I started in the trucks many years ago. My business partner did all 5 of our remote markets. Every single person running those businesses started out as a truck team member, because our opinion is if you can't perfect the trade itself, you can't lead the organization. We don't want
Example.
Exactly. We don't want people coming from different companies that might have all the credentials in the world, but if you don't understand the trade, I've noticed through consulting that you can have all the experience in the world, but if you don't understand what those people that are out there making the business work each and every day are doing, it's hard to contextualize that and lead the organization the right way. Some people do it. It just doesn't work for our business model. So as we have people progress through the career path, we want to make sure that that person who is ready to go to a market that, if they're relocating their family, we're not just saying, hey, I need you to go to one of our locations, Chicago, next week. Like, we want to make sure that family, that individual are embracing that market. They want to, plant roots in that market. They are ready to take over the world, because if not, that could disrupt the culture and just the energy that we need in our organization to achieve results that we do. So we invest in the market, but as far as what we see from a growth perspective, when we take over, because we specialize in taking over struggling businesses. So we know that there's already some momentum as it pertains to the brand awareness. It's minimal, but it's there. So when we sit there and reallocate what mostly is a bottom of the funnel strategy, with not necessarily adding additional capital, but sitting there reallocating it to where a higher percentage is going to the top of the funnel, and then the lower funnel, over the course of, I'd say, between 2 and 4 months, it takes for us to notice that maturation start to take shape.
Some return.
Yep. And people struggle with TV, with broadcast, because they sit there and say, well, we can't quantify it. It's, how do we know if TV's working or not? Well, for us, it's the results of our bottom of the funnel. It's the cost per click. It's the cost per lead. It's the traffic to our website. So we notice our cost per click over time starts to diminish. We notice the cost per lead starts to come down. Then that's because people are looking for our brand. So when you have people that are actively looking for your company, and you're not just hoping and praying that they stumble across your PPC or LSA ad, you'll start to notice your returns on the bottom of the funnel actually improve. So Kansas City is an example. When we took over this market, they were spending about $20,000 a month on bottom of the funnel. Now they were projecting to hit about $850,000 the year that we took over. We should hit 2.5 million this year. And we're spending still a third of the budget on bottom of the funnel, because top of the funnel, now we're on 2 different TV stations. We're doing streaming, OTT, but our bottom of the funnel is still like the Google ads and LSA that we're now running ourselves. We're not spending an arm and a leg on it, because we notice if that's your full strategy, at least in our in our industry, you're just gonna burn through a lot of money, because it's a saturated process for even the smaller guys.
Yep. You know what? You obviously, by doing it since starting back in 2016, you've seen so many different trends and observations from not only doing the work, you guys as drivers, but more or less the execution, how to build a team, and then how to market it, sell it. And so, I mean, you're so far ahead of the curve in terms of your business strategy. And a lot of people that I have met in your space, in terms of the people that I talked to on the phone when I had to have a removal service, I interviewed 3 people, and of the 3, only one of them had somewhat of a strategy like you do. And that's why I picked them when I had my decision in San Diego way back in 2018. So
Yep.
you're doing the right thing, man. Relationships that you have, do people come back and use you again? If they, for example, if they used your service and they move somewhere else, you want that repeat business, obviously, if they have a similar need. And your people you put into place. Let's say, for example, you're in Phoenix, you open a Tucson area. Is that customer the person who's going to be in Tucson running that? Or is it their customers that they will have and provide the service to?
Yeah, as far as so to speak to repeat business, that's a huge part of our growth because we noticed in a lot of the markets, 10, 15% was repeat. Well, by years 2 in multiple markets, we're up to 35, 40%. That's kind
That's
of a range
outstanding.
of
That's
repeat
really good.
business. Yep, because again, when people listening are probably going to hear, okay, you guys haul trash, but understand like the people that we send out there every day, like they want to make this an unforgettable experience. And that's a part of our sales process is doing things outside of the scope of the actual removal, which we call an electric ending. We have guys offer to vacuum up at the end of the job, bring in the groceries if someone pulls up to the house,
Right.
bring packages inside, change light bulbs, walk the dog. We've had people mow the lawn. It's some of the most crazy things. And we even make it a challenge, like who can do the craziest electric ending, because that's a huge strategy, but we gamify it within our organizations
I
because
like that.
at the end of the day, when you read our Google reviews, which we've got that's a big push for our LSA strategy as well. When you read those, I would say 80 to 85% of those reviews are talking about how we made the consumer feel. So you sit there and read it. The customers are talking about the electric ending. They're talking about the mannerisms of the individuals there. They're not talking about how, hey, the way that they twisted that couch out of my front door was exceptional, or the way that they, propped the
Right.
door open and didn't hit the trim was exceptional. They talk about how we made them feel. So we as an organization really capture that, and that's how we're able to get repeat business. But our general managers, they are the ones who will do follow-ups with a lot of the clients, reach
Okay.
out to them, establish that. We even have some of the truck team members who are doing jobs for them, which that's the front line of our company.
Right.
They're building a rapport to where it happens all the time in all 6 of our markets. That customer will actually reach back out to the truck team and say, hey, can you guys come back out? And that's when they'll reach out, they'll tell the operations team, set the schedule, but that customer wants the team back who did the job for them previously. So it's a win-win for everyone. The guys on the ground obviously know they're going to get tipped very well if the customer wants them back.
Right.
And, we as a company want to make sure that we're not just doing a job for someone one time. This is a lifelong customer of ours.
I love the electric ending. I love just the terminology of that. That's pretty clever. And I think it's smart. I mean, because you don't remember just the activity. The activity was what they were contracted for. It's how they make you feel about the activity. That's the lasting image that will retain your clientele. So I like the way you put a terminology to it. And in a sense, your people would be realize, hey, let's do something special. Even if it's one thing, if we do something special, I think that's very clever. You're running a very good organization in that aspect. Where is your challenge right now as the CEO to grow?
I would say our challenge is the fact that, the industry is growing. So junk removal, there's a lot of competition out there. Again, we feel real strongly about our strategy in any market that we get into, but just, where it was 10 years ago versus now, like when we were with the previous company, it was easy to go in and cannibalize a market to where now there's private equity that's entered most of the larger players in the junk removal industry. Neighborly acquired Junk King just a few years ago, and we've been a beneficiary of that transaction. So I know College Hunks has had private equity investment, got
Right.
Junks obviously leading the industry right now. But I would say, yeah, there's just with home services in general, PE is really aggressively trying to enter. So I'd say the competition is definitely ramping up, but we feel really strongly of any market that we get into that we're going to perform very well.
Now, did you then go ahead and, yeah, you will have competition for sure, but all the little things you're doing are separators or differentiators. I like that. Tell me more why you went into the bug portion of the insect removal, and you call it, I believe it's called what was it called?
BugBros.
BugBros. So in BugBros, why did you do that? Was it to expand and separate again and make you more unique with the combined services, or was it just a separate entity?
Twofold there. So one, there's this company, or it's a company based out of Tulsa that they just have a Tulsa and Wichita location.
Okay.
And these two brothers that formed this group, me and my business partner have built a great relationship with over the last couple of years. And we knew there was synergy there because it's a very customer centric brand. And we just wanted to find a way, one, that's a good bolt on that we can put onto our existing junk removal markets, because, a lot of people who are wanting to get rid of trash, we do notice that there's a need for pest control as well in some instances.
Yeah.
So our idea is at scale, we want to be able to offer, like, it doesn't matter which brand, because there's some other brands that we would love to bolt on as well. We want to make sure whichever service they go to first, there's another company there that there's synergy with that we could then offer to them as well, to where we essentially
Added value.
add value to it. But to the pest control portion, going back to that, so we wanted to formulate a partnership with these guys because they are excellent at business. They've built an amazing brand, and we pride ourselves at Titan to be operators. So them handling the nuances of the industry, all the licensing, just the stuff that we're not privy to at this time, but we know how to build structure, build scalable processes. And, that's been exciting over the last 6 months for us, is learning a new trade and then finding ways to, because you could go across the country and look at junk removal, and, we feel like we have a very unique model because we run it like a Fortune 500 company in every one of our offices. We're doing that in the pest control space now. We're making it to where guys can come in as entry-level techs, and the goal is to scale so they can ultimately have the opportunity to do an operational position at a great salary, general manage that particular market, or go open a new location for us. So we've perfected that model for junk removal as far as that scale to ownership, and now we're looking forward to doing that in a much larger vertical of pest control, and then eventually add another home service, and then another one, to where it's not a job, it's a career. And I think that's a differentiator for us is, you come in for an interview, we're going to talk about career and growth, to where other businesses might just talk about, here's your hourly pay, and here's the expectations, and here's what here's how many days you get off your first year.
Well, what's interesting is that you really have put some thought to, and I admire your fortitude and your focus. I mean, you really have got this vision of where you want to grow this, and I think you're on the right path to achieving that. I can't believe our 30 minutes is already up, and it has been a great discussion. It went by really quickly, you know what I mean? And I think you've shared a lot of good things that people who are listening to will go, wow, these people have their act together. I like what you're doing. More importantly, how do I become a part of this opportunity? So would you please share what's the best way for people who want to reach out to you to contact you going forward?
Yeah, you could visit our website, thetitanway.com. We've got all of our businesses in there. You can see our portfolio. You can reach out to Aaron, my business partner, or I directly. And go on there and take a look. And we've got some cool video content on there as well that expands on some of our processes and who we are. And, I would just say, take a look at that, and you can truly see that the people that make this happen each and every day are the ones that start out at that hourly position that are now, hopefully, or in the future, running locations for us. And we've been able to do that repeatedly here. So it's a cool website. It can tell you everything about kind of how we got to where we are.
Jamie, you're a dynamic young man. I love what you're doing, and I love your energy, and I think what you've got is a great vision towards the future, and really appreciate you spending the time to be on with us today on Principal Podcast. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Principal Podcast. We hope you've learned valuable lessons and strategies to grow your firm and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.